Environment matters now, and the fifth session of the United Nations Environment Assembly, UNEA, has kicked off in Nairobi with calls to end plastic pollution, while environment ministers and stakeholders from around the world are in attendance, and it is hoped that they will adopt a resolution to not only reduce plastic waste but also enforce recycling of waste. Our NTV's science editor Zainab Wandati was in attendance, and Zainab is now joining us live for more details. Zainab, what was day one like, and what can we expect in the next few days?
Well, Zainab, a very good evening to you. This UN Environment Assembly will go on for the next 3 days, starting today all through Wednesday, and then Thursday and Friday the UN celebrates UN Environment at 50, UNEP at 50. So this first day, there are at least 150 countries that are represented at this UN Environment meeting in Nairobi, and at least 70 ministers, environment ministers or otherwise, from around the world. And one of those ministers is the minister from Norway, the Minister for Environment from Norway, who is serving as the UN, as the UNEA president for this session in Nairobi. And as you said, yes, the calls are loud, getting louder for ending plastics, and not just ending or even just reducing plastic waste, because the UN has told us before that by the year 2050 there'll be more plastics in the ocean than there are fish in those waters. And so ending plastic pollution, reducing plastic waste is a matter of priority for the world. Now, among the people who addressed the assembly today is Kenya's Environment Minister Keriako Tobiko, as well as the UN Environment Executive Director Ms. Inga Anderson, and also the President of the UNEA, the Minister from Norway. And just listen to some of the things they had to say about this.
So, a huge responsibility sits on our shoulders at this resumed session of the 5th UN Environment Assembly, a responsibility to deliver solutions to the triple planetary crisis, the crisis of climate change, the crisis of nature and biodiversity loss, and the crisis of pollution and waste.
Plastic pollution has grown into an epidemic of its own. In fact, it's a rather new acquaintance. My grandparents did not grow up with plastics around them. My parents had to become grown-ups before plastic became commonplace. But in my life, it's been all over.
Some progress has already been made on this resolution to end plastic pollution, and the final resolution is expected to be adopted at least by Wednesday, when the closing ceremony happens, and President Uhuru Kenyatta is expected to be in attendance. Now, when this resolution is taken, it will be a first for the world, when the world comes together to end plastic pollution. That hasn't happened before, and there are calls to have this resolution to be legally binding so that every country is on board, and also adopt a circular economy such that this plastic waste is intercepted right from the source all the way to the oceans. And remember, this meeting goes on until the end of the week, and we are still here to tell you, to keep you up to date what happens and if this resolution is indeed adopted and what it will mean for the world. Zainab.